Alright, hello my gamer guys, gamer girls, and gamer people. Welcome to a breaking news report. Okay. Portal movie is still alive in development at Warner Bros, says producer J.J. Abrams. Hello. Okay, so apparently, and I didn't know this because I guess they first announced it like 8 years ago. Yeah, it's been 8 years since Valve announced that they were going to do this. And I guess they've had this Portal movie in the works for quite some time. Now, I'm a fan of all things Valve, and I really love the game Portal. So I was weirded out when I heard this. Weirded out would probably be the best way to put it. Like, I guess I'm kind of hyped up that, you know, they're still paying attention to Portal because Portal's a really good, game series, and it had a really cool history, and the gameplay was awesome. But the thing about it is, whenever you hear something like this, you're just like, oh, they're going to make a movie out of my favorite video game. Because we all know that video games have just made the best movie adaptations ever. Apparently, J.J. Abrams announced that it's still in active development by Warner Brothers and that they're writing a script for it right now, which is cool. I mean, it is cool to see that Portal is still alive. That this gaming series and franchise hasn't died out yet, because I know there's still a whole bunch of people that like it. There's still a whole bunch of people that make movies about it and make fan stories about it and stuff like that. Movies about it? Did I say movies? Videos about it. Videos, not movies. These guys are making a movie, but nobody else has made a movie about it yet. Here's a quote from Abrams. "It's got enormous potential for a lot of reasons, one of which is because of the limited narrative of the game. As ingeniously told as it is, the potential of it is so huge, it's going to be super fun." So I guess he's saying, like, okay, the game itself had kind of a limited narrative in that it told a lot of the story of Aperture Science, but it didn't go as far as it could. It focused mostly on Chell and some of GLaDOS's backstory, and there was a lot that was left unsaid. Now, people have filled in the blanks themselves a lot with, like, YouTube videos, fan stories. They've gone back and looked for secrets and stuff like that, and there was a bit of a comment going on at one point, but other than that, there's a lot that was, like, just left to the imagination, which is one of the great things about it. The actual story of Aperture Science has been left kind of, like, to rest. We know that GLaDOS obviously killed a bunch of the scientists with neurotoxin, but then we know that she couldn't have killed all the scientists because she mentions that they put a morality core on her to stop her from spreading the neurotoxin anymore.
Good news. I figured out what that thing you just incinerated did. It was a morality core they installed after I flooded the enrichment center with a deadly neurotoxin to make me stop flooding the enrichment center with a deadly neurotoxin.
So where did it get to the point to where GLaDOS literally killed everybody in the facility? Like, what? Like, there's a lot of gray area there. We don't know exactly what happened. And also there was the thing with the Combine. I mean, GLaDOS practically, like, references the Combine in the first game.
Things have changed since the last time you left the building. What's going on? If you wanted to wish you were back in here. I have an infinite capacity for knowledge. I mean, I'm not sure what's going on.
And I don't know if they're actually going to include that in this, but, whether that is going to expand into that world and maybe there's, like, some sort of explanation of the Combine, like, stopping Aperture Science, or maybe the Combine never even discovered Aperture Science. Who knows? There could be, like, a whole story even in that. I kind of doubt they're going to focus on the Combine in the movie, though, because that would make it too much of a crossover into Half-Life, and they never want to do fun things like that, so we're never going to get a ship of Gordon Freeman and Chell, guys. So my main concern here is Portal movieable? Which is a word that I just came up with right now. Movieable. So, like, before in the past, lots of people have taken video games and tried to make them into movies, and it's almost never worked. Like, there are some times when it's kind of worked, and there are some times when it's been better than others, but I can't think of a single video game that's been made to some sort of smash hit movie. There was the Witcher series. I've never watched that, though, or played the games, so I can't say anything about that. But Portal does have a lot of lore aside from it. The only thing is, I feel like in order to have a good movie like that, they'd almost have to not focus on Chell, which was... Chell was... I want to say that she was an amazing character, but I don't know how I can say that because she didn't say anything the entire time and there was nothing to really suggest that she was a great character. But you know, you project a lot onto Chell and you give her characteristics and stuff like that, and you kind of imagine who she's going to be, which makes her a great character in your mind, and that's hard to do in a movie. Valve games have a lot of charm to them. They have a lot of like whimsical charm, and I feel like a lot of that's going to be lost in the movie bringing it over, because I feel like they're just going to try to market it as some sort of action killer AI sci-fi thing. And technically, yes, that's what it was, but it's not just your run-of-the-mill action killer AI sci-fi thing. It's a Valve game. I don't know how else to put it because it is just a Valve game. It's whimsical. Yes, a whole bunch of the things that are going on are like horrible and stuff like that. You got scientists being killed with neurotoxin. You have Chell being trapped in the facility. You have some random AI taking over for the facility at some point, and all these awful things are going on, but at the same time, Valve takes it in such a light-hearted stride that a normal action movie, I feel like, just couldn't capture that the way that Valve does, and just couldn't relay the charm that comes from that in a movie. But I could be wrong. I could definitely be wrong, and I hope I am, and I hope they find an angle to come at this movie with, to where it is just a smash hit. I hope it is awesome, and I hope that it really gives us the full scope of the story, and I hope it includes Chell, and I hope it includes Kate Johnson as J.K. Simmons, and I hope that it has a great... I really hope that they get the voice actors for GLaDOS, because if they don't get the voice actors for GLaDOS, man, I don't know what they're gonna do. But I really hope that they include, like, lots of good backstories on GLaDOS and lots of good backstories on the facility and all the backstories that we wanted to see, and maybe not so much Chell. Maybe not so much Chell, because it'd be very hard to focus on Chell in this. Like, it'd be cool if we got a backstory for Chell, but at the same time, you can't really follow the action of a video game character in a movie. That's very hard to do, because movies and video games just don't play out the same. Like, you're playing a Valve game and you've got a level going on, and you are totally engrossed in the level that you are on. The level you are on is awesome to you, and only to you, and maybe to a select few people who like to watch you play video games. But that's not plot, that's gameplay. That it's completely different. You can't just put that in a movie and expect people to be like, oh, wow. You know, it's not gonna work, so it's kind of hard to follow a character like Chell when a lot of what she's doing is just jumping through portals and solving physics puzzles. But I think that they could probably include some backstory in there. The only thing is, Chell isn't important in the Aperture Science lore, really. Is that a controversial statement? Like, obviously the games are surrounding her, but as far as the actual Aperture Science lore goes, she's not really included in that. She's not really important, as far as we know. She was one of the scientist's daughters. People have speculated, and there's a lot of good evidence to cover that. But other than that, like, it doesn't seem like she was very important in the history of the actual Aperture Science facility. Of course, there were a lot of parallels drawn between her and Caroline, which I think the movie would do good to take advantage of in that case. You know, like, Caroline and Chell were supposed to be very similar. GLaDOS actually says in the final song, she was a lot like you. So that might be a good angle to approach it from. Maybe just, like, spend the entire movie drawing parallels between Chell and Caroline, and maybe some of their backstories, and telling the story of the old Aperture Science, maybe through the eyes of Chell, who is just so similar to Caroline. That... I don't know. Is it Caroline or Carolyn? People are very picky about that. More picky than they have the right to be, really. But anyway, I have a lot of hope for this movie. I have a medium amount of hope for this movie. I wish it the best, but I don't I don't know. Comment down below, agree with me, disagree with me, give me your thoughts, because maybe there's some things that I haven't thought of, but, I mean, there's definitely some things that I haven't thought of, hello. But I want to hear what you guys have to say about it, so thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all later, probably in Half-Life Opposing Forces. Bye.